Good morning, Jordan.
Morning.
All right. Do you mind starting with your name of your business, and the goal of your business?
Yeah, sure. So I have two businesses actually right now. My name is Jourdan Martin. I have Martin Investment Group LLC, which is a business that serves to provide financial literacy and stock market education to whoever is willing to take it. Right. We try to focus on creating people who can use the stock market to do whatever they want, whether it's pay off debt, financial freedom, whatever. I have the knowledge to provide that sort of insight to people. So that's what I do. And now my other business is Martin Entrepreneurship Group, which is kind of the same sort of mission, is empowering people to better themselves through entrepreneurship.
Okay. How long have you owned both of your businesses?
Martin Investment Group, 2 years, and then Martin Entrepreneurship Group is about 4 months in. It's been a journey.
What? I got you. Why do you have two separate businesses?
Because we do two separate things. So one is because we do two separate things, so there has to be a clear distinction. Two, for more of a business side, is because if something were to happen, right, we don't know what could happen. There could be somebody somehow that I didn't protect myself legally with Martin Investment Group, and I get sued, and maybe I have to liquidate the business assets, dissolve the business. I still have a separate business that's up and running, still a way for me to reach out to people. So it's kind of that, but mainly on the front end, it's two separate businesses doing two separate things with two separate niches, working with two separate groups of people.
Okay. Did you ever expect to become a stock market expert?
Yeah, I guess so, man. I mean, I've been doing this since 2012. It's currently 2022, so I'm in my 10th year. And once it started with me reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. And when I saw the whole breakdown of, if you want to be financially free, or the people who have like the true wealth and the true freedom are the investors and business owners. And I was 14 at the time. I was like, okay, well, can't own a business, which turned out I started my first business shortly thereafter. But I started getting up on the investing thing. So from there, it wasn't any turning back. As I did my research, I found that investing was the way that a lot of people, got to where they got to financially. So it really wasn't much of an option. It wasn't a plan B. It was I'm going to figure out how, if Key can use the stock market to, position himself, what makes him different from me, right? And so I took that approach, and I was like, cool. So I started studying it, bro. Like every day, I was checking out books from the library, because we didn't have a big YouTube presence back then, and it wasn't a bunch of social media teachers. So I go to the library, see what's on the website for the library on what books they have on stocks, check them all out, come back to the house, take notes, read them all, take them back, research deeper the stuff I didn't understand. So I would be, up at 3 a.m. when I was in college. I'd be up at 3 a.m. in the bed researching stocks with the 8 a.m. class coming up. So I never really thought that I would be doing what I'm doing now with it. But I definitely knew that I was going to figure it out. I didn't have any other option.
Okay. For the people watching this interview, do you mind letting them know how old you are?
23.
Okay. So what made you start your businesses?
My willingness to help people. The base level is that what happened was I was in college. I was still getting deeper and deeper into trading, and it got to the point where I was making $500 a week. It's consistently $500 a week in college. It's pretty decent, right? Especially for me to be doing something off my phone that doesn't require me to go clock in somewhere or go take away time from the study. So I started doing that. I came across options trading, and once I got that figured out, then I was having $1,000 days, 2,000, 3,000, $1,000 weeks, right? So that was even 10 times better than the feeling was 10 times better than just like $500 a week, because it was a lot easier. And I'm not gonna go deep into options trading, but you can use less money to make more money. I was like, man, I was killing it. So I was posting it on my story and like, yeah, look at the market today. Yeah. Or I'll be in class or I'll be at my desk at work looking at charts and stuff. People like, man, what is that? What you doing? So I started teaching people, and it got to the point where now I was in school. I also had a job. And then having to teach people, stocks, I was like, dude, I'm using a lot of time because I keep having to explain the same thing over and over and over again. Because one day, Bobby want to learn, then Chris want to learn, then Tanya want to learn, then Sarah want to learn. I keep teaching the same stuff in my room on this whiteboard or in the library in a tutoring room. I'm like, dude, okay, I got to put together something. I only got to say it once. I only got to record it once. And then I could just be like, hey, you want to learn? Yeah, teach me, Jourdan. Here's the course. It's all laid out. You got questions to ask me afterwards. And so that's really how the first business started was, from the spirit of helping people, but just making it easier on me. And then it turned into, man, you're teaching me how to make money. Do you charge for this? I'm like, no, it's cool. I just want you to learn. But then, as we get into the whole, multiple streams of income and how can you leverage different things to position yourself, further in life, I was like, okay, well, if people pay for hula hoops, which is a plastic circle, and people pay for Snuggies, which is a hoodie that's real long, and I'm helping people make money, yeah, I'm about to charge for this. And I'm going to use that money to go into the market and make more money. It's like y'all are just buying me extra stocks. And so that's where it all started, man. Then the other business, my entrepreneurship group, was because of the numbers I did my first year as a young entrepreneur. I was like, dude, I gotta teach people how to do this too, because I'm really killing it. And so that's how they both came about.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you hit six figures during your first year as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. Well, I'll say it like this. My first year of actually running the business, yes. So I had the business filed and it was a legal, a real business, but I wasn't really doing much with it. It was just kind of there. But my first year, last year, 2021, um, I was like, I have this business. Let me see what I can do. Like I'm a bad dude. That's what I said. I'm a bad dude. Let me see what I can do if I give myself a full year into doing this. And that was while I was working, full-time job in corporate America. But I just was determined to do it. So yeah, first year we did 180. I don't mind saying it. Did 180.
Gotcha. Can you give us any examples of struggles that come along with owning a business?
Yeah. So first one, man, it's a lot. It actually is a lot. Um, One being everything depends on you, right? Especially in the beginning, unless you're doing like a partnership. But as for me, it was pretty much just me doing everything solo. It was my idea, it was my execution. So if I didn't do the tasks, nothing was going to get done, right? So having time to be able to get things done that need to be done, having the discipline and relationships is an area I'm actually still working on right now and improving in because people, everybody kind of wants you to fit into how they want you to fit into their stuff, right? And a lot of times if you're the sole person like moving the business along, it doesn't work. I can't come to your birthday party. I have to try to get ready for this thing I'm trying to launch. You know, you're not going to launch it. If I don't do this, it's not going to happen. Right. I have a timeline laid out for this. Um, it's just tons of things like that where it's, hey, we're doing this. Can you come? No, I can't. You're always too focused on the business. You only care about is making money. No, that's not true. But if I spend all my time doing whatever it is everybody else wants me to do and not what I need to do for me, it's not getting done. Unless I come hang out with you, are you gonna come help me with this later? Oh, you're not? Okay, well, no. You know, and so having to manage that, dealing with family and trying to make the most of family relationships because it still applies. Because, like I said, if you're the main one doing everything, if you don't do it, it doesn't get done. So, like my family at first didn't get that I needed to really schedule times to speak, and so it was a whole, well, I'm your grandma, I'm your cousin, I'm your aunt, I'm your whoever. Yeah, but I have a certain structure to my day and we can make time for us to talk. But I got meetings or I have different things I'm creating. So I during this block of time, I need to be focused. Unless you're gonna come and help me create it. If you're gonna come and create it, cool. Um, so I say the main, I guess, struggles per se would be for me anyway, and I know people have different things. My main thing was really relationships. And initially it was just managing regular life um, with the business because I was working full time and I was still trying to work out and I was still trying to manage friends and family and like a potential partnership type of relationship and myself, right? Having actual Jordan time to just be Jordan. What does Jordan want to do today? I'm not Jordan the business owner, not Jordan the trader, not Jordan the brother, not Jordan the son. Just like, what do I want to do for me? Um, but that was it for me, bro. It wasn't nothing too bad.
What has been the proudest moment as a business owner?
Being able to help, being able to help, not only because of what I do, and I don't sell like candles. Not like there's something wrong with selling candles. I buy a lot of candles, so nothing wrong with that. But I feel like what I have is such a high impact thing, right? That you can come to me and say, man, I want to learn how to use the stock market to pay my bills. I can sit down with you in 15 minutes and you leave with the understanding of how you can use the stock market to help you pay bills or progress you towards, financial freedom or progress you towards a college fund being established for your children. Like whatever it is, there's a way we can kind of make that happen. And that's life changing. All right. So being able to do that, looking at that in a year, I had almost 15,000 new students enrolled in courses, and primarily my free course. But being able to provide that much impact where, it's life changing is one to the consumer. But then secondly, through the business, I've been able to help family and friends too, where I've had, friends who were like, man, I need a couple $100, I need a couple $1,000. And I can be like, okay, look, do this for me right here for the business can pay you, right? Because I have a vehicle that can generate income. So if you can come in and work for me as a graphic designer, for example, or as an assistant or whatever it is, and I can show you how to make my business $2,000, I'll give you 1,000. Right. So let me show you how to make 2,000. I did that with a close friend of mine who had a lot going on. I said, look, I'm gonna show you how to make my business $2,000 a week. I'll pay you 1,000 a week. And so that's what we did. And it's been a huge thing for him because he's still in school and he has a child and he has a lot going on. So to be able to do that for somebody um, is wonderful, man. So just helping people. That's all it's all about. Is helping.
Gotcha. What has been your hardest moment as a business owner?
Hardest moment, and this was, I guess, a mistake that I made. Being a first time business owner, stuff you always learn. My Instagram was always my main way of, reaching out to people, or my only real presence was on social media through Instagram specifically. And my Instagram got taken down one day, just out the blue. Not out the blue. Somebody told me if I didn't pay them $600, they were gonna take it down. But I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So being too focused and it was kind of like putting all my eggs in one basket where all my followers, all my interactions were stored in one spot. And not even in the event that somebody came and tried to hack or tried to get me banned, but even if Instagram did the same thing like Vine, right? Vine's gone, you know? And so there's no guarantee that Instagram is going to be there. So the hardest part was losing that because that's where everything came through. But the lesson I got from it was, take the traffic and the audience you get off of here and move it around, right? Have a YouTube where now people are coming from Instagram to my YouTube, to my Twitter, to my Facebook, to my TikTok, right? To my Snapchat, to my email list, right? The things that I can control. Because once you're on my email list or on my text list, no matter what happens to any of these other apps, I still have a way to reach out to you, right? So from a business perspective, if I have a new drop, if I want to get feedback for something, if I want to get ideas, I still have access. But if I have an Instagram page and Instagram one day gets sold to Twitter and Twitter decides to shut it down, then what, right? So that was the hardest thing though, because it literally cut my revenue in half in that 1 month. I've been working my way up. I did 16K, I think the month before. I lost my Instagram July 4th. And then the rest of July, I did 8,000, which still sounds like it's not bad for a month. But if to go from 16,000 to 8,000 was like a pretty big blow.
Mhm.
But the other lesson I learned in that was having recurring income from the business. And so I had actually implemented a subscription service. And the subscription service is really what saved me at that point, as far as the business goes. Because if I was just selling, one item, it was a one-time purchase. After that, it would just be done. So that was the hardest thing, though. Man, I was down 2 days. And after that, I was like, okay, well, look, crying ain't gonna bring it back. So we just got to get back to work. So that's what I did.
Okay. What makes people want to work with you?
Me, man. Like my not only my story, from what people have told me, I don't want to just say what I think, but from what people have told me, my passion, my energy, my willingness to help people, the fact that, it's not just I say, man, I want to help, I'm here for you, but the fact that people can still book a free 15-minute call with me, right? I have a free course, and I've had multiple business coaches tell me my free course gave too much. Like, you give people so much, they got to digest it all. They're not even about to buy nothing else right then because you just gave them so much stuff. Like, your free course, people have told me my free course is better than people's courses that cost like hundreds of dollars. And to me, my free course is just like a basic intro. But I put so much into what I'm doing and into helping people that it's no denying that I'm focused on people more than I'm focused on making a dollar. And that's been the overall main reason why people work with me. I answer my DMs, not just with text. I answer with voice notes most of the time. And so that's been something where people are like, dude, you got like 27,000 followers, you got tons of DMs, but you're still taking the time to send a personalized message to me. On my side, it just makes it faster. I got a lot to say. I can just hold the button, like bop, 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 send, instead of like having to type stuff out. But, it is more personal. And that does mean a lot that it's not just a robotic message, or it's not just, my assistant responding to you and never actually me. Um, and so people appreciate that. That shows that I care, and I do.
Gotcha. Do you have any specific goals as a young entrepreneur?
um, Retire my mom, retire my grandma, but they're not gonna let me. So that was kind of one of my things, was retiring my grandmother, retiring my mom. But both of them are so supportive that they won't let me do it unless it makes sense. So I told them if I make $1 million this year, they don't have an option. But for them, as I said, hey, how much do you need a month to retire, right? And I said, okay, it's this number. But they, both of them are like, bro, Jourdan, I don't want to be a bigger bill, unless I'm providing something of value, right? So if you can justify the payment because they're doing the work, that's different. But in the growth stage that I'm in right now, it would hinder me more to pay out that much additional each month. Um, so we're gonna see what happens. If I do 1 million this year, like I said, they ain't got no choice. Other than that, as far as a goal, most of my goals haven't been, um, I don't have, I knock them down too quick. So I set goals, and then I had to start doing monthly goals because I had a yearly goal last year, and I hit the yearly goal by like April and May. So then I was like, well, and the fact is the yearly goal was pretty outrageous. Like it was a stretch, like, man, if everything falls into place and if I whatever, this is the goal by the end of the year. And it might take 2 years. And I did it in like 5, 6 months. I was like, okay, what do we do now? So as far as goals, man, the biggest thing is just helping people, bro. I don't have a set number. Sometimes I look at different city populations and I'm like, okay, I want more students and more people that I've helped than the number of people that live in this city. And that's kind of been one of my things is, all right, New York City has this many people in it. I want to help that many people better themselves through one of my businesses. Of course, we have financial goals, but all in all, that's just kind of a thing to keep me kind of pushing. Um, and of course, with that, I'm not gonna make more money if I'm not helping more people.
Right.
Right. So they go hand in hand. Um, but that's really it, is retiring people in my family, setting up my biggest thing actually. So now I'm thinking about it, this is my biggest, why I created everything is I wanted to make sure that when I was a father, I was there for my family. And it wasn't that I had to go to the office. I didn't have to go, on business stuff. I could be there for all the baseball games and dances and choir concerts and whatever. I was there at the house. It wasn't a when's dad coming home or I'm here, you know. Um, and that's the biggest thing, was creating something for that. But other than that, we're just gonna keep running it up, I guess, running up the people, running up the money. Donate some charity, get my name on a big building or something. I don't know.
The Martin Center.
Hey, bro. You shouldn't have said that one. Now it's gonna happen. Hit you up in 5 years. Like, hey, remember when we said the Martin Center?
Let's see. What advice would you give someone who says they do not have enough money to start investing?
Get some more money.
Simple as that.
I'll elaborate. But on the basis, so first thing is you have to understand how much money is really needed depending on your goal. All right. And everybody's goal is different. For you to say, I want to be a multi-millionaire day trader, starting with $500 ain't gonna cut it. Right. But for you to say, I want to start off a long-term portfolio that'll grow over the years and that can double as my retirement fund when I'm 55, 60. $500 is a solid start. You can do that. If you want to trade options and you're like, I'm new to trading options, I want to get a good start, but I'm still learning, so I don't want to risk too much. $500 again is perfectly fine, right? So it just depends on what you're trying to do. Day trading for a living, you're gonna need at least 50, in my opinion, 50,000. And so it depends on the goal. But then the second thing and the most important thing is that you're not going to invest money that you can't afford to lose, right? And so if you're investing savings, then it can be a potential issue, because if you lose it, you never know. But if you lose it, that's your savings and it's gone, right? But if you have a job and you budget it out where every month you have an extra $500 that can go towards investing. Then starting off at 500 is fine. Get the hang of it. Maybe you blow it all the first go round. You have another 500 coming right back, right? But if that's not your case and it's just, hey, I saved up 500, it took me 4 months to save this all together, I'm ready to give it a shot. My thing that I tell people is you need to focus on either spending less or making more, preferably making more, because it's only like decrease your expenses by so much. Even if you living for free, that's it. That's it. There's no further extension, but you can make 10,000 in a month, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Right? There's no real limit on how much you can bring in. So increase your income. Like I said, get more money. Like very, very serious. Because you want to be real with yourself. You know, and you don't want to start it with $100 thinking you're gonna do something and your expectations are here, but in reality, you know, it's not reasonable.
Gotcha. What advice would you give someone that wants to own their own business?
Research. So my biggest, if I had a catchphrase, it's funny. This kind of fits my little motto or catchphrase. When it comes to business and when it comes to goals, and the thing I always tell people is you need education and execution, and one without the other, you're not gonna have any results, right? So if you're trying to start a business, research, right? Research, dig into it, research different business models, research everything you can think of. And that's how I got my start with stocks, or how I became so good with it, is I continuously research. I'm taking a month, next month, my whole month is going to be me diving further into education and then me revamping courses and working on personal relationships. Like that's my whole month. Um, and so what I would do is, if you want to start a business, Google how to start a business, how to find what business I want to start, how to start a business based off of whatever hobby it is that you want to start the business from, or whatever knowledge you have you want to share. Open up 4 tabs, read them, you know, see what stands out, see what makes sense. Okay, now I know I want to do a stock business. How to create stock courses, how to market stock courses, stock market courses for beginners. Let me look at what their stuff says so I can get an idea of how I can kind of word mine. Right? Just research and then execute. You know, you give yourself a roadmap, but you can't get to the destination if you don't get in the car and go. Right? Even if you got the GPS all mapped out, even if you got a recipe, you got the ingredients, you ain't making no cake unless you start actually mixing the stuff up and putting it in the oven. Right? And that's the result you want, is the cake. But you also need the recipe, which is the research. Right? That's the education. So biggest thing, education, execution, but then get with somebody who's done it. And that's regardless for any area of life. If you want to get better in the gym, find somebody who's good in the gym. You want to get better at a certain subject in school, get with somebody who's good at that subject, right? And entrepreneurship, if you want to become a good entrepreneur or a great entrepreneur, go learn from multiple great entrepreneurs. And that doesn't have to be in a one-on-one setting. That's the best, but it can be in a group setting. It can be through a course. It can be through books. It can be through, you know, interviews and podcasts they've been on. And that's the biggest thing, though, is being able to have the resources, but then building your network around you. Where, like for me, I joined a mastermind inner circle, right? Cost $25,000 for me to be a part of this program with this group of people. All right, 25. The reason I did it primarily wasn't for the education. Like the person who's running it is a multi-million-dollar business owner. And it's not just from the mastermind, it's from other things that they were multi-millionaire before the mastermind. But now I have a community where if I'm dealing with a higher level business thing, I can go to them because they've dealt with it. Right? The minimum requirement is that you're a 6-figure business owner to even be in this program. So now I know like stuff that I'm dealing with. And I'll tell you how I got there. I wanted to make 10K in a day. It's out the blue. It was one of my random goals. I was like sitting there talking to one of my friends, and it just popped in my head. Like, we're just talking about something. I was like, man, I want to make a 10K day. I haven't made a 10K day yet. I've done 5,000 in a day. I want to make 10K. And so my first thing was, okay, how do I do this? I haven't done it before, right? And you got to realize with the way that, scaling works, it's one thing to make 5K in a year, just for example. To make 5K in a day takes a completely different approach. You can't just say, well, yeah, you made 5K in a year, so like do that times 500 and you'll make 5K in a day. That doesn't make sense, right? It's different things you have to do to hit different numbers, to hit different results. So I reached out to another group I was in of business owners, but that group was mainly newer business owners. So I reached out to that group, and it might have been like 60, 70 people in there. And I said, hey, who in here has made $10,000 in a day? First message I sent in the group in like a month. Who here has made $10,000 in a day? And the person who ran the group, she was like, I have, but our business models are so vastly different. I might not be able to be much of a help. And there was one other person in that group who had made 10K in a day. So I talked to him. And then I went and I game planned a bunch of stuff. I figured a bunch of stuff out. And I did end up hitting my 10K in a day. It was 10.5. Now, that was a problem for me because if I have a goal, of course I could figure it out by myself. And like, he didn't just give me like the secret sauce to 10K in a day. He told me a lot of things that I already knew and was kind of thinking about. I think he did give me like one or two different viewpoints on some stuff. But for me, if I have a goal, I need to be able to talk to somebody about it because there's only so much I can get if I want to make 10K in a day. And the most you've ever made in a day is 1,000. There's only so much you can really give me to help me get to my goal. I can help you hit your goal all day. But how am I getting myself to the next level? All right. So now with this mastermind that I paid $25,000 to be in, now I have a group of people who they've all done 10,000 in a day before, for the most part. It might be like two or three of them that haven't, out of a group of like a smaller, more focused group, right? So now I'm in a room where, and even on my phone, I can text multimillionaires right now, and they'll text me back. Not a Jourdan, schedule a time. Like it's, hey Jourdan, what's going on? What's up? And I pay for that access. So I'm not saying if you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to be a new entrepreneur, go spend $25,000. But what I am saying is find like-minded people who are going in the same direction, and you can pour into them and they can pour into you so that you can keep going forward.
Gotcha.